I'm at my barista job on another weekend, instead of creating game designs for a company. I did everything right. Went to college and earned a bachelor's degree. Instead, the universe just keeps giving me rejection. The fresh smell of coffee filled the air. I was making coffee for a middle-aged man in a business suit who looked like the life had been drained out of him. I put on my best customer service face as I hand over the coffee to the tired businessman hiding their depression with a smile. He took a sip of the coffee and spat some of it out. "You call this coffee? There isn't any flavor in it," the tired businessman said. "You specifically told me not to add much flavor to it," I said with some of the spat coffee on my face. "I would never say that. I want to speak to your manager," the tired businessman said. My coworker gave me a sympathetic look and got the manager for me. As the manager was handling the entitled customer, I decided to take my 20-minute break early. I was looking through my old notes on my phone for a video game I was working on, until my partner, who was helping with it, backstabbed me and took my spot on the team by framing me. At 25, I thought I would be designing games and living on my own, but no. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. At least I have my best friend. I glance at my watch and prepare to serve more customers, reflecting on happy memories to get me through my work shift and pick up Hazel.
Hazel was sweating like she was at the gym, pushing a tank full of home items after 5 years of working full-time in retail, paying off the debt that her foster parents got her into by stealing my identity. I thought I would figure out what I wanted to do with my life by now. 25, the only two things I learned were how to survive and teach myself about music. I was putting stuff on the shelf, trying to avoid a customer needing help, when a 12-year-old boy came up to me. He wore an anime t-shirt, shorts, and glasses that made him look a little nerdy. Reminded me of Ethan when we became best friends in middle school. Happiness came over me, replaying the dread I felt at work. "Excuse me, are you busy?" the boy asked. "No, how can I help you?" I said in a gentle tone. "Do you guys sell toy cars?" "My brother wants one for his birthday," the boy said. "Yes, we do. It's in aisle 3 next to the socks," I said. The boy thanked me and walked away. I went back to the shelf I was working on. After 3 hours, I went on my lunch break. One of my colleagues came up to me as I just took a deep breath. "The boss wants to talk to you," the colleague said. "Okay," I said. I walked over to my boss's office door and knocked, hoping no one was there. "Come in," I heard. I walked in and sat down, waiting for him to speak. "Hazel, you are one of our hardest workers at this company, and we appreciate it. But due to funding, we must make cutbacks, so I have to cut back your hours," he said. "It's okay, I understand you need to do what's best for the company," I said, trying to hold back my anger with a pleasant tone of voice. After that dreadful meeting with my boss, I finished my shift and waited for Ethan to pick me up. Ethan pulled the car up to the sidewalk where Hazel was sitting on a blue park bench. She got into the car with her red hoodie on with an annoyed expression.
"Rough day?" I asked. "Just had more entitled customers than usual, that's all," she said. I could tell she was hiding something, but knowing better, I let her cool off. I drove to the grocery store so we could refill our sad, empty fridge. As we were getting groceries, Hazel went to get some ice cream. I was deciding how much soup and rice to get from the shelf when I ran into an old classmate. As I chatted with them, I couldn't help but feel envious of them. Why not me? As I was trying to think of a way to end the conversation, Hazel put the ice cream in a shopping cart. "It was nice chatting with you, but I'd better go before the ice cream melts," I said. A hand quickly walked to check out and paid for everything. Hazel and I were putting away the groceries when we both got a notification on our phones at the same time. We looked at each other for a second, curious. We unlocked our phones and saw it was an advertisement for an Airbnb vacation in the woods. I took a quick glance at it, but shrugged it off, wanting to go home and sleep.
After giving Ethan my short answer in the car, I decided to keep the news of my hours being cut to myself. I wasn't necessarily afraid to tell him he would understand, but a part of me felt like a failure and a burden. I know I can just pick up another job to cover rent. I feel 13 all over again, something bad happening and disappointing my foster parents that I tried hard to win over their love. We entered the grocery store and loaded the cart with food. Suddenly, I had a sweet tooth craving, so I went to get ice cream. I picked Oreo and chocolate ice cream for Ethan. As I walked back to him, I noticed he was talking to someone and being courteous. But I could tell he was annoyed and wanted to end the conversation. I quickly added the ice cream to the shopping cart and we went to the checkout. As we're putting the groceries away, we both got notifications on our phones. I thought it was strange, and Ethan took a quick look at it. "It's just an advertisement for vacation," he said, looking at the phone tired. We got in the car and drove home in silence. I looked at the advertisement, and the place didn't look bad, and it's something we could afford. The last time we took a trip was when we were 18 to Luang Prabang, Laos in Asia before we started adulting in the real world. It was one of the few times I felt free and adventurous to fully express myself, and Ethan was relaxed and full of life. We got home to our townhouse apartment and unpacked the groceries in the kitchen. Ethan decided to go straight to bed to catch up on sleep. While I was cleaning the living room, I was analyzing my emotions about my day at work. I was still angry but forced myself to focus on something else. The idea of taking a vacation intrigued me, but only in my mind. I realized that Ethan and I haven't taken a vacation day since we started working after our trip to Asia. So we could take a vacation to relieve our stress.
Ethan's head hit the pillow. The sound of Hazel cleaning put me to sleep. I dreamt that I had accomplished my goals and lived in luxury. When I woke up, it was 8 p.m. I looked around the messy room that needed cleaning. I walked over to my desk and checked my emails on my laptop. After that, I walked into the living room. Hazel was in the kitchen making spaghetti meatballs and already had a plate ready for me. I set up the table, then ate my meal when Hazel told me she had an idea. "I thought we could take a vacation since we need the break and have been since we started working," she said. "I'd love to, but what if something unexpected happens and we need to put that money towards rent or something else?" I said, "If something like that does happen, we'll figure something out like we always do," she said. I thought about it for a few minutes as I looked around the apartment. That once inspired me when I was creating ideas at my old job, but now it's just a place I sleep at. When I turned my head back to look at her, I saw her tired, red eyes smiling at me. I agreed with her and told her she could plan the whole thing, smiling. Hazel jumped out of the chair and did a happy dance. I finished my dinner and went to the living room to watch a TV show.
Hazel finished cleaning the living room and made meatballs and spaghetti for dinner, too lazy to make anything else. Ethan walked out of his bedroom at a turtle speed and sat at the table. As we were eating, I mentioned taking a vacation. I could tell he was hesitant to say yes because our asshole landlord was surprising everyone with a rent increase. I waited for his response, hoping he would say yes, and when he did, I was so happy I did a dance. We finished dinner, and Ethan went to the living room to relax. While I went to my room, I planned the vacation and applied for remote jobs. On Thursday, Hazel went to a bar where you can play live music with people for fun. I walked into the small, cozy room with emerald green walls and around-the-world theme decorations. I found my bandmates sitting at a large circular table, laughing at a funny story Beck the Traveler. "There's our guitar wizard we were waiting for," Beck said. "Of course, I'm here, Your Highness," I said, bowing to Beck. "Okay, you two, we can all catch up after we perform," Angel said. We all said yes, boss, like children, and set up on stage. I held my pink guitar my parents gave me on my 12th birthday. Twins started to sing, Angel and Beck playing their instruments. As my guitar pick touched the strings, a sense of peacefulness and inner child came over me as I did a small dance. I didn't feel like I was surrounded by a room full of people, but by myself sitting on a stone bench looking at the ocean. The small audience in the bar cheered for us, and Angel thanked them. We walked back to our table and ordered food. The twins were talking about a month-long trip they were taking from their business jobs. Angel was getting a promotion at work with a pay raise, and Beck was talking about his siblings. I was happy to hear my friends talk about how great their lives were going, but a part of me felt like I was lagging or out of place. After eating and catching up, I left for the park. I stare up at the starry night, thinking about what happened to me at 13. My parents and I were in the car on a road trip. The radio played a random song, and she tried to sing along to it horribly. I was looking outside the window at the plants and buildings blurring together. As my parents were talking, I saw a bright light shining behind the car. Then suddenly, the car flipped over as if an earthquake had happened. My body somehow was a few feet away from the car. I tried to get up, but the pain that was moving all over my body kept me in place. I saw strangers walking towards the car my parents were in. They had brown hair, black jeans, and leather jackets. The strangers pulled my parents out of the car to the middle of the road, killed them with some sort of strange alien gun you would see from the movie. I wanted to scream and help them, but my broken leg made it hard. The strangers turned into bright purple lights that blinded me, and when my vision adjusted, they were gone. I've slowly and painfully crawled to my parents, holding each of their hands before blacking out. When I woke up in the hospital, the doctor said I had a nasty concussion. Even though the doctors explained to me that what I saw was from the concussion, a part of me feels like it was real for some reason. I checked my phone for the time and realized it was late. I grabbed my guitar and went home.
Friday, a week before the vacation, Ethan went to a video game club where he met his online friends in person. It was a large space divided into many small rooms. The cantaloupe orange wall color gave the space a welcoming feel. Ethan walked to room 345 with excitement at the sight of Nikki, Reese, Cameron, and River. The computer monitors were on the left and right side of the room, while the projector was on the ceiling powering up. The brown couch is in the middle of the room, near the projector screen. Nikki and Cameron were talking about a character from their sim game. Reese was reading a book about vampires, and River was looking up something on the computer. "Your king has arrived," I said in a cartoon voice. "It's the king," Nikki said, pretending to faint, and Cameron catches him. After we all laughed at them, we started to play our game. I led the team with boldness and analytical attack plans. Everyone made it to the underwater castle in the game and positioned themselves to fight. I gave clear instructions without hesitating, and we eventually defeated the boss. "We did great, guys. I knew we could do it," I said proudly. "What game should we play next?" River asked. "I don't know about you guys, but I can't decide on an empty stomach. Who wants to get the snacks?" Cameron said. Reese, Nikki, and I left the room and walked to a nearby store. I was inside the store getting the drinks when Reese came up to me and spoke in a quiet voice. "I've been talking to this investor friend about starting a company, but I want you and others to join it," Reese said. "I think that's a great idea, but I don't think I'm the right person to join your team." "I'm just a barista," I said. "You have great ideas and thoroughly plan things out. I really need someone like you on my team, and I know it didn't work out last time, but I promise things will be different. You'll be working with us, not a stranger who's insecure and claims other people's ideas," Reese said. "It's not that I don't trust you guys, but I have a lot of financial responsibilities I need to think about, and I'm more of an introvert when it comes to the business side of things," I said. Nikki and Cameron would represent us since they love talking to people, and River would do the technical stuff. "Me and you can handle the creative part, so you wouldn't have to see clients that often," Reese said. "I'll give you an answer after my vacation with Hazel," I said. "Whatever decision you make, I'll respect it," Reese said. We paid for the food and played some more games until 12 p.m. I got into my car and drove home in the dark on a full moon. The only thing on my mind was Reese's offer. He was right, I do add value on a team, but do I take the risk and fail again? 3 weeks had passed, and it was the day that we left for our trip. Ethan did last-minute checks before leaving the apartment. I got in the driver's seat and started the car. As I passed the city of Butter Grains, where we live, the place where all my dreams started and then got worse. 3 hours later, we arrived at the Airbnb. The house was large, cozy, and free from my self-doubt.
Hazel was eating a bag of cookies, just daydreaming as they passed the city of Better Grains. I felt like a child again, imagining the impossible happening to people around the world. Seeing the forest puts me in a calm, happy state of mind. When I saw the house, it was breathtaking with its aged brick and old-school design. I went inside the house and picked my room. I jumped on the bed like a child when I stopped. There was a noise by the window, a bird with a necklace in its mouth. As I walked to the bird, it flew away and dropped the jewelry. I picked up the necklace and it shined bright in the sunlight. I put it in my summer hoodie and went to the deck near the kitchen.
Ethan was in the kitchen, scribbling ideas for gaming. It felt refreshing to just be creative again with my pencil. Hazel was sitting outside on the deck, playing the guitar that was lying around the house somewhere. We went to a small waterfall to go swimming. I was standing at the edge of the high cliff, deciding whether to turn around, when Hazel ran at full speed, pulling me into the water with her. "I wish you could see the look on your face as you fell," she said. "I was eventually going to do that," I said. "Sure, you were big chicken," she said. After swimming, we went into town for lunch, then explored the abandoned mansion at night. It reminded me of a horror game I played, how run down the outside of the house looked with plants covering it. We walked inside the house. Dust and cobwebs covered many of the surfaces. Hazel explores the house with excitement and a loud voice. I explored upstairs and admired the house's layout while taking pictures. I wonder what history the house was hiding. I looked at an old photo hanging on the wall when suddenly Hazel was yelling my name from downstairs. I ran into the kitchen where she was standing holding a human skull in her hand. I was in the kitchen trying to see if there was a hidden room somewhere. When I opened the cabinet and found this cool skull, she said. "You do realize that's an actual human skull, right?" I said, "Yes, and I think I'll take it as a souvenir," she said with confidence. "Absolutely not. I don't feel like getting cursed today," I said. "We won't get cursed. Where's your sense of adventure?" she said. Before I could protest further, we heard a strange noise from the backyard. It sounded like someone was walking with heavy chains around their feet. We looked at each other and ran. Hazel ditched the human skull as it clattered onto the porch. We got in the car and drove off. "Well, that was fun. We explored a haunted house," she said. "As much as I want to disagree with you. You're right, it was fun, but can we please do this risky stuff daylight only?" I said, trying to calm my fear down. "Fine, I promise not to do any risky stuff at night," she said. We got back to the Airbnb and went into our rooms. I was brushing my teeth, thinking about how we met in middle school and became friends. Hazel was loud and outgoing. She made friends with everyone. I was the introverted, nerdy kid who no one paid attention to. We both ended up in detention because of a teacher we hated. We ended up sitting next to each other, talking while the teacher fell asleep. It surprised me how much I had in common with Hazel back then. She liked some of the nerdy stuff I did, and we shared a passion for travel. Even though we're different, I'm glad we met. We've always brought out the best in each other. I wouldn't change a thing. After I brushed my teeth, I went to bed dreaming about how day 2 of our adventures would go.
It was 2 a.m., and Hazel was in a deep sleep. Her body moved around as if she were trying to get away from someone or something. She dreamt that she was a child again with her adopted foster parents. Hazel's adopted siblings were being shown love and affection without trying. While she had worked hard to get good grades and not be a troublesome child, but she got ignored or blamed for something she didn't do. She asks her foster parents to go on the senior trip to Asia with Ethan, and they agree to let her go after she comes back. The apartment was empty, covered in darkness, and dark-colored fog surrounded it. Hazel walked towards a table with an ancient-looking letter lying on top. She picked it up and read it. "Dear Hazel, we know you've been through a lot with losing your parents, having to change everything in your life, but we had to use your social security to open a few credit cards and pay off some debts so that your step-siblings could thrive. You should be fine since you had more than them. We decided 6 months ago to move out of the country to start fresh without you. Thank you for being in our lives. Our family could not have achieved this financial status without you." The empty apartment walls began to collapse as the earthquake began. Hazel was about to reach the exit when the ceiling fell on her body. She woke up sweaty and panting. Hazel turned her head to the alarm clock. It was 3 a.m. She got out of bed and went to the bathroom to splash water on her face. "I'm okay, it was just a dream. You're not at that horrible home," she said, calming herself down. "After 2 days of adventure on our trip, I thought a nice walk outside would be a welcome change." Ethan admired the flowers. There was something on the ground 3 feet ahead of us. It was a strange stone. It resembled the necklace the bird left at my window. I was reaching for the necklace on the left side of the hoodie when Ethan caught up to me. "What are you doing?" he asked. "I'm trying to grab a necklace that looks like that strange stone on the ground," I said as he looked at it. When I grabbed the necklace from my hoodie, I picked up the stone and examined both. Suddenly, they both started to glow, and we felt a strange pull of direction from behind us. We turned both our heads at once, staring into a black hole. I grabbed Ethan's hand to run from it, but it was too late. It pulled us in, and we blacked out.